Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me on Stories with a Bast. Today, we're going to be hearing about the Scottish legends of the Kelpies. Now, if you've never heard of the Kelpies, they are the ancient Scottish legend of these horses that lived in the water. And the horses would come out of the water and turn into creatures that looked like men, but they were not men. They would deceive the men to try and bring them into the water and drown them, much like the sirens of Greek mythology. But these creatures were more deceptive and evil than even the sirens of Greek mythology were. For they would turn into creatures that looked like horses, and luring men to ride them, the men would stick to them. And then they would ride into the water, drowning the men with no choice. Nothing they could do about it. Well, this tale is about such a creature and a band of children. So, let us journey back to a time when there were villages and farms spotting the land around the Scottish and Irish countryside, and legends such as these lived strong in the hearts of these men. And there was a family in this country, and they believed in the fairies and in the Kelpies. Now, the Kelpies were only dangerous if you were near a body of water, for the Kelpies needed bodies of water to live in, and they needed these bodies of water to drag men to their deaths. And so, of course, the natural conclusion is that you don't go near bodies of water. Well, but it wasn't that simple. You needed things like fish and water just to live on. And you needed to go swimming, and you wanted to learn to row your boat. And so what was a person to do? Well, the adults had simply learned not to touch strange horses, and in doing this simple thing, they were safe. But the children, being children, did not know this simple fact, and so their parents tried to warn them. They said, "Children, do not play by the water." But the children, being children, did not listen. And so the parents said, "Children, do not touch strange horses or go with strange men or women into the water." And the children, being children, believed they would not be so foolish. And so they went and played by the water. Now one day, there were a group of 7 or 8 children by the water. They had gone there simply to have some fun and splash around, throw some rocks, be some boys and girls, and what is one to do but be a boy and a girl? And so you go to the water and you play. But, of course, there was a day when they went to the water to play, and they heard a noise behind them while they were splashing around in the waves, and so they turned around and in fright and fear, and they saw a horse, a stallion, and they were glad and cheered. And so they went to pet the horse, forgetting what their parents said, and when they pet this horse, their hands stuck fast, and they were scared. But there was one clever boy who was smarter than the rest, and he cut the hands off his friends and freed them from this horse. So the horse, covered in hands, ran back into the water, angry and frustrated at the cleverness of this one boy. Well, the children were all safe, although they did lack their hands. But what is one to do when there's a Kelpie in the land? And thank you for listening to this lovely little tale.